Hey there, welcome back. So today we will discuss about tree maps. Now before getting started with tree maps, let us discuss a couple of more interesting stuff related to map. In this program, we are making use of a hash map. There is a map based on the overall logic of lectures. Suppose the key symbolizes the serial number of the lecture and the value pair gives us the title of the lecture. Pretty simple program, right? And using this for each loop, we are displaying the value. And if we execute this program, now if we check this output, then definitely the output is pretty cool, and the output is also based on the natural ordering based on the key, which is again good, but the sequence of data is not guaranteed when it comes to hash map. So that is a catch, but the catch is not the sequence, rather the catch is in this line number 2, where we have the key as 2 and the value as expression. If we check in here, we already have a key with 2 and the value is network programming. And if we try to add data with same key, then definitely the data would be overridden and network programming got replaced by value expression. So there is a catch, take a note of it. Alright, so now proceeding further, let us do one more thing. Let us update hash map to tree map. Alright, so let me do the required change, and we need to also import the package. Alright, so everything seems good now, and if we execute the program, definitely the program will give us the same output. Now friends, when it comes to map, we can also make use of custom objects in place of key or value. So let's do that. First of all, let me add in a new class. The name of the class could be code. So this will symbolize the code of the lecture, right? And here we go. And here we will have two values, and these value would be section ID and lecture ID. Private, it would be like a string, and it would be like section number. Again, we will add a yet another property. It would be again a string, and name would be like lecture number. All right, so this looks good to me. Let me add in a constructor based on these two properties. I will navigate to source and generate a constructor using field. We will add multiple getters methods for individual properties. And finally, let's also add the toString method. So this is the usual stuff, right? So now we have a class by the name of code. All right, so in place of map integer string, we will make use of code and string. All right, so this looks good to me, and let's assign some codes now. All right, so in here we will type in new code, and the section would be like S01, which symbolizes section 1, and lecture would be like L01 for example, or L03 to be more specific. So this is it, and similarly let me make some further changes. Let me copy this part. Section would be for example 1 and lecture would be again 1. Section would be for example 2, lecture would be maybe 3. Section 1 lecture 7 maybe. Oops, I guess there is some kind of issue. Now this looks better. Let me fix this as well. And finally, let me add in a yet another code where section would be 1 and lecture would be 3. So everything looks good to me. Alright, and moving forward, let me make some further changes. Alright, let me do it manually. I was thinking that Eclipse will help us to fix the code, but it was not. But now we have fixed the code. Alright, let me execute the program real quick, and now definitely you guys will able to see some major changes. Alright, so first thing is that we cannot execute this program. Let me expand this. And the reason is because we are making use of TreeMap, we need to provide the comparable interfaces compare to method. So we need to implement the comparable interface in our class itself so that the TreeMap can compare stuffs and arrange the data in a sorted manner. So that is something which is required. To start with, let me do one small little change. The change is, let me convert this TreeMap to hash map, and let us check what would be the outcome. Let me import the required package. Alright, so now error is vanished and everything is looking good. Let me execute the program and let me show you the output real quick, and here is the output. So key is code, section 2, lecture 03, network programming, and now definitely the sequence is little bit jumbled up because section 2 is placed first and the sequence is not as expected because lecture 03 is placed first, then lecture 05 is placed, then lecture 03 is placed again. So definitely hash map is not good with natural ordering or sequencing, and time to time this sequence itself can change. Now in here there is a issue. Let me rearrange this a little. Alright, so when we are making use of a map, in map the first entity is the key value and the second entity is the value, right? Means the key needs to be unique and the value could be anything. Now in here, in place of key, we are making use of an object, which is cool. But when we are making use of an object, there is an issue. Now in here, if we check the first entry, what is the section number? It's S01. What is the lecture number? It's L03. If we check the last entry, what is the section number? S01. What is the lecture number? L03. Exactly same entry. This means that when we are inserting this particular entry, the first entry should get overwritten automatically. That's the original mechanism. But somehow, as we are making use of a custom code, the value is not getting overridden. This is an issue. We will identify what exactly is the issue and what is the solution of it in couple of minutes. But in here, let me again show you the output. In here, we are able to see multiple output for same code, which is not correct. Here is the code where the lecture number is 03, section number is 01. Then again we have the code in here where lecture number is 03, section number is 01. This is double or duplicate entries. Even though the values are different, the code are same. The key or the code need not to be same, which is the basic rule of map. So how to fix this is something which we will see in couple of minutes. First of all, let me make use of TreeMap and let me show you how we can make use of TreeMap when we are making use of a custom object in place of the key value. So in here, key is code. So let's navigate to the class code and in here we will type in implements comparable. Alright, and this would be based on code. So let me give the type as code. And now let us fix this issue. We need to implement the unimplemented methods, and pretty simple. We will write a very simple code, and this code would be return. Here is our section number and lecture number. Now again there is a issue. We are making use of multiple entries and we need to compare section number and lecture number, both of it, right? And the comparison would be based on both of these entries. We need to check the sequence of sections and the sequence of lecture, both of it. Now how to handle this, right? So inside this compare to method, we need to implement a custom logic. So let us check how we can do it. Now friends, inside this compare to method, we will play a very simple and easy to understand trick. Now we know that the section number S01, S02, S03 and the lecture numbers are like L01, L02, L03. So firstly, let us concatenate these two strings. So first of all, let me get rid of this return, and in here, first of all, I will type in string code1 equals section number dot concat lecture number. So we are concatenating these two strings and then we are again making a yet another code. This code would be like code2 equals, and we will fetch the code which is passed to the constructor, which is nothing but this O. So in here I will type in O dot get section number, O dot get lecture number. So this looks good and I suppose this should work. Alright, and finally we will return code1 dot compare to code2. Alright, so this should work, I suppose. And now if I execute the program, it should give us an output. Now let us check the sequencing. The sequencing is section 1 lecture 1, section 1 lecture 3, section 1 lecture 5, section 1 lecture 7 and section 2 lecture 3, which is amazing, right? And if we check, do we have multiple entries? There is no multiple entries, which is again good. So we have fixed both of these issues. The crash has been solved and the issue where we were getting multiple entries for same object is again fixed, which is good for now. Now friends, this program is working properly and the output is as expected, but there could be issues as well. Now friends, this program is not foolproof. There could be a scenario that you may get unexpected outputs. Why? Because object comparison, something known as hash code, this is not implemented or overridden in our object itself. Now what exactly this hash code is, what exactly dot equals method is something which we need to discuss. Let me show you what it is. Now friends, if I cover the object comparison part in this video itself, I'm pretty sure that the length of the video will go way high. So let us end this video as if now, and in our next video I will discuss more about object comparison, dot equals method and hash code stuff. So something interesting is coming up. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching and take care.